once again, we are just touching again on the fact that we have, different aspects of branding, and you should be very obviously cognizant and quite active in being able to build this brand. So you don't. Excuse me. You don't necessarily have to have something to sell. Do you understand? So you don't need a product, and you don't necessarily need like a very formalized service, to sell to someone to become a brand, so not, when I'm gonna say this, you don't have the online shop or whatever it may be, right? Your online brand, obviously, again, I will just repeat as an umbrella, like obviously starts in social media just because you're already existing there. And I'll just show you, like, I'll show you my landing page actually now. I'll just switch over to it after just a little bit of introduction. What I want to do here is I just want you to start, obviously, again, I keep saying this, like at some point I would like to see your growth, and I want to say, show me your existence, your online presence, and then just take me through some of your profiles so that you can, that you it's not it's like digital marketing for your own brand. Building an online brand is not as easy as just like take a picture and then post it, or like retweet something or whatever it may be, right? So and I express this again because there's so many content creators. There's just so many millions right now that exist on social media and online just in general. That you don't have to look. You obviously, what you produce should be of quality, some kind of way. It's got to some kind of edge, or it's got to you got to say something that is obviously purposeful, create something of an argument, a conversation, or whatever merit it is. But it has to be constructed in a creative manner because that's what you claim to be as professionals. So your claim is like understanding creativity and obviously sharing, like I say, that the output or the product of your creative process. um I'm just gonna switch over to to just what ideally what you want to have. Let me just quickly go to my landing page there. uh so that should show it there. Okay, so you should be able to see my landing page. So I have, I mean, I've got, like when I started, I said this, I started this business in 2017. It's a long time ago, but the thing is that again, it's the process of starting a business is also like it's a learning curve because obviously you need to understand how the CIPC works, how your registration works, why you wanna be obviously a privatized, let's say, organization, whether you're going to go into BBBEE and how that will obviously work, your obviously tax returns on a yearly basis, or like a bi-yearly basis, whatever it may be, and understand that like when you are starting this business, like it has to be obviously represent like one kind of direction. If you are starting again a brand, like you got to build a brand first. So because I obviously had, I mean, I had my now two plus decades in broadcasting, it was quite easy to say that, look, obviously I'm an authority on it. I also made sure that, again, because I wrote the books and that I have my, obviously now I lecture with you guys, but I also train the obviously the radio stations, and I've got various, and like I've got obviously 20 years of corporate experience as well. Like it was enough to be able to stand that claim and be able to say like, look, that's true, so I know what I'm doing. With you, you want to be able to build a brand. Like I say, it's very easy to use. Just your Google sites. I think if I can just go to my mail, hopefully it just pops up quite quickly, so we don't have an issue here. I just want to obviously show you that you can just go, and it's super easy just to create like a personal site. I think we're Apologies for that. Just kick me out. Okay. So okay. You can hear me. It's fine. Yeah. Let me just go back to the. Let me just go back to sharing the. Just go back to the windows. You can hear me, right? Yeah. Back again. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Again. Okay. So I'll show you the. I'll show the you know, I'm going to leave the I'm sorry, it just keeps kicking me out for no apparent reason. Uh, just give me a second, ladies. I could deal with all this. Just give me a second, please. Okay, I hope that is the last time it's kicking me out. Just give me a second, please. Let's just restarted the whole thing. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stay with the just the presentation for the moment, and then I'll go to the home page, like towards the end. Okay. All right. So let me just Okay. Guys, sorry about that. It's nothing with my PC. It's got to do with Teams. And I think from now on, what I'm going to do, just so that we do not have this issue, because I do not have this issue using Zoom, I'm going to create a Zoom, and we're gonna try that as well, just so that we cannot have this situation, because it only happens with Teams. So okay, yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. All right, I'll organize that. Okay, can can you guys just tell me, because I was just carrying on now. So, where exactly did I did you lose me? Did I lose you? Where exactly did that, yeah, start or stop?
No, we hadn't started on our side. We were still talking about you were showing us your
Uh,
company. You were just
uh,
about to go into your email.
oh wow. Okay. Okay. So let me do this. Let me do this from the beginning. It's cool. Let me just start this, and well, I mean, the recording has been carrying on for however long. All right, I'm gonna go to the, as you can see the class, right? You can see the class, right? Um, I'm assuming that that's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna continue, because I've been carrying on with this particularly this slide here, and this one here, explaining. Okay, so I'm just gonna recap for you what I was carrying on about, obviously clearly to myself. Um, so so here's obviously the crux of the matter, is that obviously belonging to, like, let's say you are a representative of Boston Media House, or you are a representative of Kai FM, or whatever you are. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's easy for us to attach ourselves to an already existing brand that dominates. You understand? It's had its time to obviously grow, and obviously grow loyalty, and have some kind of obviously following, whether that is taken literally on social media or not. Like, just in general, the brand is trusted, and it has a connection to. So just give me a second, yeah. Okay. So what you was here talking about how, I work with, so I work with the I group, and I work with my pocket coach, right? So what happens with them is that they hire me out to coach CEOs of companies about their particular branding. You understand? So their online space, or whatever it is, or whatever they want to kind of, they want to create some kind of persona, right? So again, quite like any other medium, like there's nothing, you don't share everything. You've got to obviously pick and choose what it is that you do share. You do know that obviously social media, for it to be effective, you do have to have a very small amount of being able to share you as a person. Do you understand? So that people can start relating to you, or just connecting to you as a person, right? So we will have a portion of our digital calendar that we do create, right, to have certain posts, like with us, with our family, with us, like, busy with our favorite hobby, or going to, or watching our favorite movie, or with a couple of friends, or whatever it may be, to make sure that, because again, social media still has to ideally represent a person to person connection, right? So that's why you'll see that a lot of, obviously, just stations that do belong. I'm saying, so before we talk about the personal brand, like the station brand itself, you're gonna have a lot of, like, quote unquote, behind the scenes stuff that is happening, and anything that kind of like can humanize the brand. I'm saying, through the people that work for it, right? And the way that we might decide to talk to a specific, or let's say highlight specific listeners or winners, or whatever it may be, like, we can just make sure that we don't lose that kind of common ground. When you see, so I want to, so I brought up the CEOs in specific, because they they want, or feel, the common thing with them is quite the same all the time, and it's about connection, right? Because a CEO is like kind of seeing someone at the top of a tower, that only the secretary and their, or their personal assistant, and somewhat their departmental managers are connected with, or have communication with. But because of where we are, just as in general, and again, this is something I researched a lot while I was busy building my corporate podcasting workshops, right? And I learned it again from the UK. It was that, especially while in COVID, while no one was able to really be quote unquote in touch with anyone, the corporate podcasting became like an everyday thing amongst like the obviously management and the people that worked with them. So it was automatically kind of personal without having a meeting with everybody and anyone in the company, right? Um, and so when you would hear you hear, let's say, your boss or your bosses, or like some kind of discussion that is going on, like it immediately, it worked really well also because people don't, like, they're kind of sick of reading, especially if you are in a job that is with a quite a big organization. You get a lot of emails, and then you have to respond quite formally and stuff, and so it opened up like an unknown space of connection, which really it increases like team morale, like a way that you feel more belonging to a brand or whatever it is. And I'm saying to you that this is why, like, we do various things with new digital media, and why it's very important, obviously, for you to identify as both a person, but more so as a personal brand. Okay, so when you're looking at yourself, like start with the thing is, so why I wanted to show you my website, and I will once we just get through the lesson, so that I can just close the lesson. We don't have any obstructions, right? Um, is that, like, you have to have some way to kind of personalize yourself, but as a professional. Do you understand? That's why I keep saying to you, like, you don't have to have the experience that I've had, that I've worked in corporate, and I've worked in media for over 2 decades, and I've got products that I sell, whatever it is, and whatever I've got various different areas of, like that I can go and make sure that I spotlight and highlight, and whatever it may be, right? Like, you don't have to have that. You can just go to Google Sites, go create a personal site with like an about, with like your blog, and with like a homepage. Do you understand? That is quite short, because you don't need a massive homepage. That also, one, has dynamic inputs from your social media. You understand? So that is a constant change, and it keeps the site refreshed, or whatever it may be, and preferably on the landing page. Just again, take my word for it. I did study computer sciences, like both, like 2 degrees in it. Like, I'm telling you now, like, to have that on your landing page and be able to have it out as a welcome mat, you want to be able to do that. But again, for branding, we need to also understand that certain colors need to be, colors, fonts, photography, like, these things need to be planned beforehand, so that you can, again, again, I don't know how much I've repeated, but I said there that I started the company in 2017, but it wasn't to go to business immediately at all, at all. I don't know anything about running a business or a brand. Like, it was something that, like, my parents always, because they didn't have education. My mom was taken out of school when she was in grade 3, because my grandfather was um, quite adamant that women should not be educated, and my dad did make it to matric, but no more skills than that. So what they do, they were, like, we had shops, like every Greek person stereotypically had. We worked, obviously, we all worked as a family, but my parents were adamant that you have to now go study something and go work for someone, so that there's too much uncertainty. Why I bring that up specifically is because, like, you have to control your own growth and learn about all the stuff that you actually do not want to do. Like, for example, if you're not a professional in, like graphic design or whatever it is, you gotta understand a little bit more about, like, like that kind of like perception, that you have to have a vision, and not allow just someone, just, oh, go create me a site, and I'll pay you for this, or whatever it is. You got to play around with a lot of stuff. And for me, business was is not my strong suit, only because it really bores me. I did the BCom honors, like, just because I knew I didn't want to sit behind a PC and program all day, but I could interact with people, and so I used that as a stepping stone to be able to move into project management, corporate, All right. So what I'm saying to you is that you need the skills regardless if it bores you. Social media bores me. It really does. Like as it should when you have a lot of different platforms that you got to look after. But also it bores me in terms of the politics and about where it's gone to and what kind of like obviously like perceptions we have bred over the years of living on social media as to what is considered correct and not correct. And we kind of losing a lot of the validity of our own self assumptions and self perceptions and self validations or whatever. So I really don't like the toxicity of it. And again, once you start doing it like this looks very simple, and that's enough. That's all you need actually right now to start with. It becomes work. And so anything that becomes extra work that you're not getting paid for and you have to do it because it's proactive and it adds value becomes exhausting to do. So that's why when I do speak to students and I say you got to, I mean, you're on there already. Yes, we are, but the thing is we do it according to no schedule, and we don't do it according to anything that we have to do. Does it make sense? Right? So it doesn't feel like anything that is a bit of a pressure on every day or throughout the week that we have to adhere to or commit to, right? But once you do start doing that, understand that it will drain you more creatively as well. Don't post for the sake of posting at all, rather than keep it quiet for a little while. But do note that you still have to be like consistent in terms of like not missing for a month and suddenly you like want to post on something just because now you want to say something, right? um that consistency and whatever you decide your brand is going to be, whether it be represented like partly on social media or whether it is like I say represented by you as a person and you in other aspects and avenues, like you have to kind of test the waters there. And it's good, like it's good that you don't have to be responsible for followers right now, because you want to be able to be comfortable in those spaces. um because again, I said this briefly, social media began when, I mean, I was 28, 2008, like started becoming a thing, and no one really knew how to use it around the world. No one really knew how to use it, and so it was very experimental and very, I mean, silly as well. Like it was just, people posting for the sake of posting and putting rubbish on, and all of us put rubbish on. That was very embarrassing, right? But like as we learn and as it becomes more of a stable structure and something that we can understand, as you know now, there are jobs and there are full careers that every business has to have some kind of digital strategist or like marketing manager or whatever it is to take care of this. And so we understand that there is a science, quote unquote, behind it. Just a couple of things are there. So I'm just going to quickly just go back into the class. Any questions from the two of you at all? Anything? Just in general about your own concerns? Hey? Yeah, nothing yet? Okay.
No,
Yeah. No,
I'm
no?
aware
Okay.
right now.
Okay. All right, great. All right, so just a couple of points. Obviously, take the reins. Um, staying true to, like, we obviously want to take within the, I'm teaching radio, so we talk about the station and itself and it as a larger brand to belong to. Just again, remember that if you are affiliated to a brand, that type of expression should be limited. You understand? I'm saying to you, you can't just go ahead and, as you know, like people have been cancelled just for the smallest silliest things. But the thing is that the stations at the end of the day now have, like, they are pressurized, you understand, to act on, and I say by that, can like actually, like firing people or stopping them or suspending them or whatever it is, and like making that very public so that the public is kept happy, right? This is why, and again, it's something that, you know being your own personal brand again is a difficult thing, but it's becoming more and more and more useful these days, like, instead of belonging to a bigger brand and having to like I said, box yourself under certain ideals. You can keep recreating your box, you understand, and how you're perceived and how you want people to perceive you. And the thing is, people understand also personal growth, you understand. So you don't, so as you grow with your brand, like you will change as a person and what you believe in and what it is that you are promoting or sharing with the rest of the world, right? So obviously I've written stuff down there, that you can go look at certain case studies like Boogaloo Radio, which really has been pointed out as something that's connected in this case to a particular brand, like a bar. It's a pub, right? Or a pub that obviously is linked to their broadcast, and they made sure that they became a name because they hosted a lot of Britain's like very iconic bands, and there was a very so the approach is to make it very nostalgic also in a way, so like something that is iconic or whatever it is. Try and think of these examples on a much smaller scale for yourself as well, and again, post with purpose. So if you want to make a name for yourself, there's many ways to make a name for yourself. Certain personally, there's a lot of people like me that again, when you start dealing with your brand, and I've said this, and I'm proud to still say it because it's gotten me very far. I haven't made one mistake with the Chris Jordan Media brand. I'm saying to you because I took it in very small steps, and I didn't have assistance because I don't like paying for someone to work for me or whatever it is. I will hire someone to teach me. Do you understand? And then I will carry on from there. It's good to understand every space that you start to deal with under your reins. And the thing is, again, I can, like, if there's obviously referencing that does happen because the industry is so incredibly small. Then like a good obviously like a conversation, I'm saying, that is being had about you by other people is the best way of getting more business, but also kind of moving along ahead and upwards, like some kind of obviously business ladder or industry ladder, right? um okay, so build a hub for your own listener. So within this is why, like, specifically, like, when you do the shows for me and obviously for yourself, I mean, it's your marks and your obviously your subject, right? Like, have a brand that does also, because now an aspect of you will be involved in doing on air like shows, right? So you want to be able to also promote what it is that you're doing work wise. That is the thing that will obviously that compensates for the idea of what you do as a professional, right? And again, you can ride on the piggyback of whatever BMH Radio stands for, whatever they're busy doing. But the thing is that you are a personal entity on your own, that that is only a portion of what it is that you're currently busy with. So we go and we make sure that we advertise inadvertently our projects without being very in your face promotional and just like selling. You'll notice that also any posts that have to do with you promoting like a service will get the least amount of likes, will get the least amount of whatever it is, and no one can explain why. Do you understand why? It's not because people don't support you or they just I I don't have the no one has the answer for that. So you'll see that even some of your friends that will, I mean, they'll get, like, let's say, lots of likes or whatever it is when they're posting just like just random old content. But once it becomes something that is like posted as a service, you'll again 10 to 1 have a very minimalistic interaction for, and they'll just see it as something that is present. And again, like, for example, if you're hungry for like fried chicken, you can go to two places, but also you can go to Chicken Licken and you go to KFC, but only when you're in the mood for fried chicken. Make sure that when you do advertise what you are advertising, it's very clear what you do, like as a service, and where they can contact you, which will obviously be within your social media details. Or again, what I was trying to say to you earlier, but I'm sure that didn't come through, is when you got your Google account, right? let it restore. I'm just with getting that like up and ready to show you. So when you are again when you're busy with your now I lost my train of thought, man. It'll come to me now. Okay. Yeah. Well, when you're busy with your products and your services, and again, like do that in a small space and make sure that you have your own little, like I say, people that you can trust, people that will tell you like the truth, right? So again, your friends and your family, and also people that are, experts in some way that you do know that will have a look for you just to validate if you are on the right path in terms of brand representation, right? Like for example, don't neglect your social media. Again, for me, what's worked and what is the highest in terms of, so I get a couple of thousand. It's the highest traffic out of anything that of mine that's on social or digital media is my landing page, right? Because here the SEOs, like, because I also again told you I worked at Google, I know about this stuff. I also again I have a degree in that. I know how to build stuff around like that, like the website building and all that, but more so again the tools that need to exist now and your knowledge about how to, but obviously use them can be learned from somebody, and then you obviously need to just put things into practice, or again you are proficient in it in some other way. That's what I'm saying to you. Start to look at your analytics that are available to you on a personal, in your personal space. I'm saying to you on in digital social media, whatever it may be, and go and see what that actually means. So see which posts are getting the most exposure, engagement, interactions, whatever it may be, but also see like who is responding. So is it young people? Is it like different, like obviously middle age, or I don't know, whatever it may be, the female, male, and again obviously race, and then some do include like if they can get that type of stats, but I don't think they can, like in terms of like what they're earning or what their lifestyle is. I don't think you can get as far as that, but you can get a good idea as to like people's what's hitting as good content and what's not really hitting at all. But you can't also just take one factor into consideration. You've got to also think about the time that you posted, the day that you posted, what you posted on that particular day, and hence why you need a social media or a digital calendar at the end of the day, where you go and you plan these things according to like a normal Google search. And I'm saying to you, you can go search for it. Again, I'll go through this all now. I just don't want to have a trip here once again. Okay, so a tone of voice. So remember, don't, just what I want to say about this is cool. Like I'm saying to you, like you've got, you must be like a little bit more proficient in certain areas so that people can start relating like your brand with certain services, or like a certain, again, kind of mission statement, vision statement, whatever it is, right? Know what type of person you are, what you stand for, what you're about. Like, is this funny? Like, are you a comedian? Are you a this? Are you a that? But don't again box yourself far too much, because that's when you allow authenticity to play a role, which is why people want to connect. Like, again, because there are so many like different obviously, I mean, there's a lot of different, like there's a gazillion accounts that you can go and come across on any social media platform. Like, we will once again go to personal taste, but personal taste then obviously is then refiltered into connection, and connection means loyalty, right? So you want to know that people are coming in, and you're like, okay, cool, I like this, that was really nice. I want to maybe reshare that, I want to download that, I want to keep that, I want to snapshot this, whatever it is, because it right at this very moment, like that's what I needed to hear. You understand? Or that was very cool, I didn't know that. Or I like this person and I want to get to know them more. Again, you are public figures, and so the thing is that you have to connect with the public for that to be a reality in some other way, right? So we're nearly done, as you can see on the side there. Craft a distinct sound and a vision, as I've said to you before. Establishing your brand comes through experimentally first. See what is working for you and readjust like in the beginning, it's a lot of a lot of like PT, a lot of work, because but you want to do it right. You understand? So again, as I say, as I was building the brand, I was very quiet about it. You understand? I didn't want people to see anything that I was changing. I had to change mine from predominantly, it was only broadcasting, right? But that was too niche, and again, we're too saturated. And so I made sure that new media was in there, because I mean, I've got accreditations in there, I've got experience, and so I understand new media. New media is broad, right? And so I can start offering services that are much broader within the scope, but also I can put my focus on, a little bit more like wiggle room to be able to, grow, like, let's say, and move throughout, obviously, a series of moments in time, right? So again, as I said, small things like colors and the way that you brand a logo, whatever it is, should be assisted by a graphic designer, right? According to what you like and what you want it to be. I am my sister's a graphic designer. She does everything. Like her husband, my brother-in-law, they work together. They have a company. It's called Seventh Season. They're very good. Anyway, but they obviously did my stuff for free, because I mean that's what family does. Um, but they obviously know what they're doing, and so it's like this is why, obviously, with obviously my insight as well as to what it is that I know exactly what I want to be on the site, and how it must look, and what areas must be in there. Like, we developed together a quite nice end product. I'm going to attempt to share the screen. Okay. I'm hoping it'll be fun. So I'm just going to quickly close just the PowerPoints. So we have some less issues, yeah, possibly less issues. Okay, so here, so yeah, okay, just want to give me a second. Okay, so here, just at my homepage. So here's my homepage. I hope you can see that. I'm sure you can see that, because I did the site itself. I'm saying I mirrored the site here itself. Okay, so you can see they're broadcasting. So I changed from radio to broadcasting, because broadcasting is now literally so broad, right? And new media industry professional and trainer. That's so. At first, like, I had a guy that again started off my digital and wanted to call me a tastemaker and stuff like that, and that's cool, but it sounds a little bit, for me, it's a little bit snobby. Do you understand? Oh, tastemaker. No, people don't really use the words like that. You want to just make it quite simple, whatever it may be, right? So I insisted that my homepage is so a homepage should traditionally be actually no more than three scroll, like one, two, and then three, and it should actually stop there. But I insisted that, because I have so many particular projects, like I said, and people actually, because through obviously Google Analytics, I saw that people actually stay on the homepage for quite long. Like, they are my social mediums that are obviously fed through. These are people that some of the people that I've worked with and worked for. There are all my services that I do. There's obviously, you can go buy the book. You can go check out the mentorship that I started. You can go check out the web series that's Comic Book Heroic. You can go download the audio book that I wrote, and then obviously here is my podcast listings. But wanted to feature again, like the obviously the one that was nominated, and then these are the newer ones that are featured. Excuse me, here, and obviously here. So the 50-year journal, and then again Coffee with Convicts. So that is it. What you would need is a home, an about page, and a blog. Do you understand? So I have a shop, obviously, because I sell the textbook, and that's fine. And then it just goes into a PayPal account, which you need assistance to set up. I like just again, when there are we have graphic designers. Excuse me. Students are graphic designers, and if you can do something for them, they can do something for you. You understand? So you don't have to necessarily go out and go now spend money. Try again on Google Sites to see. It's super easy to create a really nice little site for yourself. But for you, what's important is a blog, right? Because this is where like you show your ability to like so again, I work with Disney, in terms of promoting their products. So I'm just a partner, one of their few media partners that they do allow. There's obviously just my own stuff. There is again, just obviously my perspectives and stuff for different years, whatever it may be, challenges, stuff like that, and it carries on and carries on and stops at a certain point. You understand? Because then I went from a blog, I went from Google Blogger to then obviously here, which was just a little bit better for me. For example, like just an about page, tell us what your qualifications are. Like again, I would probably share my skills. I'm saying if I was you, I'd put some beef here. So that's obviously just a couple of pictures of me, at different areas, ETV, making sure that they're interviewing international guests at 947, training at Tux FM, and, guesting at Cliff Central and stuff like that. And then obviously I've got testimonials that are important from different people that I've worked with or that are currently and or are my clients, right? So obviously Boston Media House, where I do work, where I did work again at Google Open Networks, started Gay Say Radio, like had trained these different community stations. There's more down there, and so and then obviously working with NCR CW, which is a workshop that happens yearly down in Bloemfontein, very big for all like the station managers and stuff like that. Okay. All right. So again, so for example, like you want to be able to also create an account. I create an account on Iono. It's a very it's a legacy platform. In other words, it means that it's an old platform that is dependent. It's South African, and the thing is that they immediately, when you do pay a very small, you can pay a very small fee. I think it starts like $90 a month, right? For them to air your stuff and feature your stuff um, on Spotify, so you don't have to go through all the PT and stuff of creating different accounts. It'll just, the RSS feed will help you through. They're all my podcasts, right? And they're divided up into 5 particular categories. Okay, all right. So, okay, so I'm just going to stop that share there. Okay, so just questions. What any questions about like what we spoke about, or again like this? What are you confused about, or like let's say about tell me, it's fun.
No, I think I'm okay.
You
I'm
sure?
alright.
Tell
Yeah.
tell me, do you? So again, my question, my follow-up question to this was obviously like, have you do the do you two girls have a brand that do you have brands that you've started, and where are you
Uh,
active? You know?
Well, can't say it. I can't say I was intentionally building a brand like I've mentioned before, but I
Yeah.
have a blog, which was a blog I started back in 2020, but I've
Yes,
been
I remember
quite
you saying.
inactive. I actually got back on it last Sunday.
Oh,
Um,
good.
yes, so that's what I've been working on. I have a blog. It's around mental and emotional health,
Good.
just holistic health. So that's what I'm working on right now. So at first it used to be only writing,
Yeah.
and then I decided that I think it would also be quite healthy for me and the audience that I also appear. So now I incorporated videos, like video sit downs as well.
Nice.
Which is something like I said that I started last week Saturday. So I know what my niche is. I just don't know. I think I'm still struggling. I'm still trying to figure out how to build around that.
Okay, so I mean, in other words, so the thing is again, because you built the blog specifically around its mental health and development, and obviously like that kind of, that's a very specific area,
Yeah.
and I mean you don't like I mean she was just thing is with the face WhatsApp group, just share the link so that we can also just go have a read and go have a share, or just go like again
Okay.
the different profiles that you do have and stuff. Right now, again from there. So one thing I want to say is obviously like brand imaging is very important. So you got to create one, like let's say logo. Do you understand? And
Mm-hmm.
that logo has to be everywhere. So right now, if you don't have a logo for yourself, I mean, you've got so many apps there's so many
I used
apps.
Canva. I used Canva, the
Yeah,
free
Canva
one.
is very nice, and it's because I mean it really produces some really nice. It gives you a lot of options to create something. Remember, simple but effective, and obviously color schemes are very important because, like, if
Mm.
you go and do some reading on what different colors mean, like so for example, why for example Absa is red and Standard Bank is
Mm.
blue or whatever it is, they're trying to it's a metaphor for what it is that they believe that their brand stands for. You understand?
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like simple things. I know I'm going to use the most direct ones, but like for example, red will be passion, and it'll be, you know what I'm saying to you, like there's like for example, white is purity, and blue is obviously it's well, there's compromise and then relationships and stuff like that. So picking that particular color and color scheme for your brand is also very important, but keeping it simple. Again, don't
I do
overcomplicate.
have
Yeah,
I do have something. I don't know if I'd say it's the logo that I'll be running with in the long run.
sure.
But right now, as I'm trying to figure out the brand and where we are actually going and all, and working with what I have, I do have something. I even have a whole explanation behind it. I just
That's
never considered the color part because I like monotones.
okay.
I just like something that's quite subtle and all. So
Yep.
I used more of my whites and everything, but the dominant color, now that I think about it, it's black. I
Yeah.
always gravitate towards black for some reason. But now that you're putting it like that, that every color has a meaning,
Yep.
it's quite, yeah,
You're going to
makes
say to me, okay, but then why aren't all the bags the same color, for example? Because
sense.
again, it's about to do with that that vision statement of yourself, and be like, okay, because the thing is that it does ignite. It really does. The way we relate to obviously a particular a brand is then to obviously relate to its imaging. You understand? And
Mm,
it doesn't. It's not that it's not manipulative at all, right? Because again,
mm,
different brands again are banking specifically because they are so exactly the same. I'm saying all banks do the
mm,
same. So you got your Nedbank green, you got your Capitec, which is red and blue and white. Do you understand?
mm,
You understand? Like there's different choices, just like picking the colors for a country's flag. Do you understand?
that makes
Um,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. So to be able to look in that kind of, like I say, it again gives you also again like that little bit of ownership, and also a little bit more. See, when someone says to you, "Oh, you can do anything," I keep saying this because it's something that I thirsted for when I was a student jock, and we were allowed to do anything because the whole idea
Mm,
of campus community is to be able to grow your talent, right? But
mm, mm,
at commercial radio, you must know you are not allowed to do a thing without clearance. Do you understand? And it has to, and also it's structured through obviously brand identity and obviously money and whatever it may be, and again, like that was suffocating for me. It really did. It like getting from one side to the extreme other, like it was creatively suffocating. You understand?
mm,
What I want to try and say is that, like within that. Uh, again, I created a podcast back in 2012. It was very funny, like it was very good. And the thing is, again, I want to just emphasize. So myself and Brad, O'Regan,
mm,
who was my producer, we did this thing, and then we said, "Oh, we can say anything we want, and it's because it's ours. It's not associated to any brand." And we sat there and
right.
we were like, when we press record, no one had anything to say.
Mm,
What I'm
mm,
trying to say is that we needed a plan as well. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying to you. It's so important for as content creators, and it was really popular. Like the stuff that we came up was really like it was welcomed very well, and we had a very good like I say, amount of listeners in total, and then obviously the series must ended, But I'm saying to you, it only became good the moment we put planning and preparation, and we knew what it was going to be about, and we couldn't
That
kind
was
of.
the reason. That's one of the main reasons why I had a fallout the past few years
Yeah,
because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a schedule. I didn't know what to do until I had to sit myself down and decide that okay, fine, this is how we do it at this particular time. We should have a schedule to avoid this, to avoid that. So it does make sense.
yeah. So very cool. Always, again, as I say, just keep checking, just keep googling like the peak hours for your digital calendars, right? For each of his social medium, and what material works particularly on those days as well. It's always changing, right? So that's why you got
Mm,
to, like I say, every maybe month, just check in, make sure that you're on the right track. And again, do not commit yourself more than three posts, creative posts a week for now. You understand? And that is across platforms. If you just get used to it and get it into a routine. Nkosi, you yourself, tell me, we'll end there. Yeah.
As there's only that podcast that I told you about, I think last week that I'm trying to like working on. I haven't started, but I just like um made like a plan and what direction I should go to.
So I mean, so just to share with Tapang, so of course he came, wanted to do a religious, like a religion-based podcast, Christianity, and
oh,
there's, yeah,
that's wonderful. That's great.
yeah, no, no. So that's the thing, is that the proactiveness, it needs to be, you need to pat yourself on the back, because proactiveness means no one wants it from you, nor no one needs it from you, because they don't know it exists. You understand? And you want to
Mm,
go and create something new. And so I said to Nkosi, I said to her, like, we have pastors for that. They're going to go listen to it, like I do. I've got a really cool app. It's called One Place,
mm,
which has a number of, like, numerous amounts of religious podcasts. My thing is that they are all pastors. You understand? Like, they're
mm.
religious. They have their credibility somewhere, and so we're saying, as a startup idea would be to see, because the thing is that you are, it's like Nkosi is a young, obviously, practicing Christian, and what you want to do is be able to, like, for example, have like 2023 concerns or obstacles, or conversations that other young Christians are having, and then
Right.
relate it back to, like, the way that you want to live in Christ,
Mm,
like, you understand. So, and
right.
then there's an angle there which will definitely work. It'll be a really cool
It'll definitely
podcast.
work.
Yeah,
And I think the wonderful thing about that is that we are entering a time where a lot of people are trying to find themselves and define themselves from their
exactly.
spiritual perspectives and their spiritual inclination. But at the same time, the topic is no longer becoming, it's less of being religious than it was a few years back. Now it's more about who
Spirituals.
who are, yes, it's more
Yeah.
about your personal connection with, who is it, God, is it Christ, is it whoever it may be, and however it may look, to
Yeah.
it's more of each to his own. So there are
Yeah.
quite numerous angles to follow with that.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you. That's why you have to bring in the conflict. I was like right now, um, particularly, I've wanted to do this since I was like 23. I started doing the research, and I wanted to have a documentary or TV series called Dark
Mm,
Africa, because of
mm,
the different aspects of African spirituality. But specifically, I wanted to see the battle. You understand, the battle
mm,
between, like, the good and the evil, and again, all the myths are based on legends. The legends are based on facts. You understand? So,
that,
and there's a lot of that practiced around. I'm saying to you, like, what you need, and I was discussing this with a potential person that wants to do it with me, and I said, look, if I don't have conflict, like, for example, if you're creating a podcast, you're creating even a broadcast, you don't have conflict. I'm saying, in other words, you don't have rich discussion, whether it be like obviously, let's say, butting heads, or it's different opinions, or it is opinions that it starts to build rich layers, like that's what we call conflict. You understand? Then you don't really have
Right.
anything. Do you understand? You don't really have anything. Like anything else is just why understand? You watch a movie to see where it climaxes to. So
Mm.
that's what I'm saying. When of course, like, definitely, because students are very verbal. I'm saying that the youth are very verbal, and the thing is, what you said there specifically about spiritualism becoming an individual definition is
Mm.
something that is, again, I don't want to make this into a sermon myself, but for me, like, obviously, for me as a Christian, like, that becomes a more of a massive concern to see where society is at. You understand? Like, because of that,
Yeah.
they're abdicating from a particular, like I say, like you've got guidance in Bibles and whatever it may be, in the Torah or whatever
Mm.
it's, right, Quran, sorry. um but to start abdicating and start making it about yourself is basically what hedonism is about, so
Right.
and the thing is, again, students, specifically the youth, it's a normal thing. It's always been about finding yourself, because that's when you have to make decisions on who you are. You understand? It
Right.
comes naturally to you, and and one of those things are obviously to find your identity within where you think you belong,
Like where
which,
you are going.
yeah, I mean, again, self-identity and self-actualization is definitely decided a lot about what it is that you put your whatever you define as faith in. You understand? Like,
Mm.
so whether you're atheist or whatever, it doesn't matter. But my point is, again, it's a man, that is a crowd, and that is an audience worth, like, grabbing. You understand? Because you will have a lot of things to talk about, and it will be controversial, I say, but it's worth. When I say controversy, it means, like, it's worth listening to the next minute, which is what we want in radio. Do you understand? And in broadcasting. Okay. All right, ladies. I'm gonna just stop that recording there.